Tell me about a time that somebody came into your job to try to tell you how to do it, even though they didn't know. I'll start. I'm a real estate agent. Lead calls in and says, hey, we want to look at this house. It's $900,000. I said, awesome. Let's, have you talked to a lender yet? No, I'm not pre-qualified. I said, okay, well, how much down payment do you have? Not much. Maybe $10,000. I said, okay, so we're about $890 now. We're going to need to finance. That's fine. And they said, yeah, but we want to spend $2,000 a month. I said, well, it's not how a mortgage works. It's going to cost a little bit more than that. If you want to spend $2,000 a month, it's probably going to need to be about a $300,000 to $400,000 house. And they say, well, we're not living in a cracked in. Well, this is Vegas. $300,000 to $400,000 doesn't really buy a cracked in. It's a pretty nice house. I said, well, that's not going to work. The mortgage payment's going to be more than that. They said, offer them $2,000 a month. I said, that's not how that works. They said, well, then we're not going to buy that house. And I said, you know what? I think you're right.
Tell me about a time when your child has told you that they've seen a spirit. I'll go first. When my daughter was 2 years old, I was in the kitchen cooking her dinner and I asked her to go into the living room and get me something. She came flying back through from the living room, screaming and crying, shouting, there's a man in the living room, there's a man in the living room. So I've gone running into the living room, spatula in hand, not really sure what that was going to do, but there was nobody in there. So I said to her, Liberty, there's nobody in here, there's nobody in here. And she was like, he's there in the corner, started pointing in the corner of the room. So I politely told them to go away. Later on that day, I took her round to my mum and dad's house, and just as she was only a couple of weeks old when my granddad, her great-granddad, was died. And I pulled a picture out and I showed it to her and I said, Liberty, do you know who this man is? And she got really scared and said, that's the man that was in the living room today, Mummy. Your turn.
Tell me about a time you thought you were completely right, but then ended up being completely wrong. I'll go first.
Mister's understandable. You have M-I-S-T-E-R. M-R. Miss. M-I-S-S. M-S. Miss. So it had me thinking, where does the R come from in Mrs.? You know? I was like, where in the world does this R come from? That I realized something. Mrs. is when you're married. Misters.
No.
Tell me about the time where it just clicked and you were like, okay, I gotta start doing this. I'll go first. All right, so one day I was just driving and I get to a red light. I'm just sitting there waiting, chilling on my phone for a little bit, and then a car pulled next to me. I look to my left, I'm like, damn, the car kind of nice. Then tell me why I found myself with my hand on my door handle, finna get out and take his car. Literally from that day on, I never played GTA again. Games like GTA and any racing game are the reason I used to weave through traffic. I can't play Call of Duty too long, be ready to kill somebody. Can't play Dragon Ball Z, be ready to fight somebody. But that time where I almost took somebody's car, that's when I knew. When they say rated M for mature, I was not mature.
Tell me about the time you found out you had psychic abilities. I'll start. I feel other people's energy very intensely. I could feel someone's energy just by looking at a picture of them. I barely have friends because I could see through people's bullshit. One time me and my fiance rented an Airbnb. Within the first night, I knew that motherfucker was haunted. Because every time I closed my eyes, I saw a quick vision of someone walking around the room I was in, and they wouldn't leave me alone. They kept touching my shoulder, touching my face, you know. He didn't believe me, but then when we were talking about ghosts, there's like 5 lights on the ceiling. It flickered off and on, off and on. I'm like, I told you. I have very intense, vivid dreams about what's going to happen in the future. One time I astral projected and I saw my dead dog and an angel.
Tell me about a time where you put your job right on the spot. I'll go first. So I used to be an assistant manager at Sally's Beauty. Mind you, I'm the only black employee. So I go on vacation for about a week. Before I started my own business, I always worked retail. I've been working since I was 15, but let's get back to the story. So I come back from vacation and it's this whole big thing of someone having stealing within that week that I was gone. So I find this letter from one of my employees stating that I was someone that was stealing. She saw me stealing, all of that good stuff. So when I see this letter, I am livid. I am pissed because that's not even me. So our big manager had came in. I normally was alone in the mornings. That's when I count the money, open up the store, take the money to the bank and all that good stuff. So he comes in and he comes in real aggressive. And so I already know it's about to be some shit. I had to call my mom first to make sure I wasn't tripping. She said I was good. Life of part 2.
Tell me about the time that your parents truly overreacted to something that you did. I'll go first. This is like 7th to 8th grade, and like I rode with my friends at the basketball practice to their house, waiting for my mom to get off work. When she comes pick me up, I ask her, I said, hey, tomorrow I ain't got practice, you gotta work. Can I go to my friend's crib down the street from your job and just chill there till you get off work? Progress reports had just came out, and she asked for mine. She saw that I had a C. She then begins to hit me across the head in front of my friends, talking about, you gonna ask me to do something, you got a C in your progress report? It was a 78. So we walking out to the car, she just keep hitting me and everything, and then just like, I got pissed. So I threw my bag, not at her, and just took off running. So I get to my friend crib about a mile away, and I see some bright ass lights come through the front window. It was my dad. Man, I take off out the back door, run down the hill, go to my other friend's house, just chilling there. And then he pulls up there. My dad wasn't mad. He was just like, bro, I gotta take you home and everything. Your mom did overreact, but she want to talk to you. I said, all right, cool. We get to the house, walk in the door. My mom was in the living room, workout clothes, stretching, and said, let's fight. Like for part 2.
Tell me about a time you stormed the Capitol building, along with like your driver's license number and your place of residence.
Tell me about a time where a guy did something really special for you. I'll go first. So when I first moved to Chicago, I went to the John Hancock building, the 96th floor signature lounge, and me and my ex-boyfriend, got in a huge fight. Everybody in the lobby was looking, including the manager. So he comes up to me, he's like, ma'am, is everything okay? No, everything's not okay, please kick him out. So he kicked him out. He said, oh my God, I love your accent, where are you from? I said, I'm from Alabama, just moved here, I don't know anybody or anything. He said, oh my God, I would love to take you out. So a couple weeks later, he's like, hey, come by the restaurant. I get to the restaurant, and at the bottom, at the elevator, it says that they're closed because it's really windy outside. They close when it's really windy because the building's so tall. I text him, and I'm like, I thought you were working. Why aren't you here? He says, I am. Come up. Y'all, I get to the top of the 96th floor, and this motherfucker has turned the whole restaurant into just a place for me and him to eat. Turns out his family owned the restaurant. He had white tablecloths and rose.
Tell me about a time you ran into someone famous but you didn't realize it until afterwards. So I'll go first. When I was a little kid, I remember I was checking out this hotel with my family. They were checking out in the lobby. I was running around. And then suddenly this man stopped me and he was like, hey, I like your shirt. And I just was kind of like, okay, thank you. And then I ran off. But my family finished checking out and then they were packing up all of our stuff into the car. As we were packing up, I was kind of thinking to myself, he looked kind of familiar, but I thought he was like a family friend or something that I'd maybe met before. My mom saw that there was some like commotion going on in the lobby, and then she was like, who is that? So my mom ended up walking up to someone who worked outside of the hotel and asked who it was. And he kind of just leaned in and whispered, oh, that's Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman complimented my shirt, and I had no idea who he was.